telling me I'm just bait.
She's sitting there telling me I'm just bait. Sitting there, she didn't wanna know, now I'm just bait. Sitting in the trap, I'm just paid. You doing college, EMA. I've been in a row some early. Trap was a part of my DNA.
Hello and welcome to my channel, guys. This is Sideline Hansen. Today's topic of discussion is why Manchester United lost the game against Chelsea in FA Cup semi-finals. These are how both the teams lined up: 3-4-1-2 from Ole, 3-4-3 from Lampard, Pogba, Greenwood, Martial on the bench for Man U, God knows why, and Chelsea were obviously without injured Pulisic. Now we will take a look at what was the plan of each team with the ball. Lampard wanted his wingbacks to stretch the play as much as possible and along with the winger develop on the Man U wingback. Also, often Azpi will run forward with the ball and create a 3v2 situation on the right side, overcrowding the wings and thus looking for a cross. This was only possible because Willian and Mason Mount dropped into the half spaces and thus keeping the two Man U midfielders engaged. Here you can see Reece James is free on the wing, Brandon Williams is unsure of who to mark, and Matic does little to force Willian. And once again Brandon Williams caught in the same dilemma as Alonso and Giroud. Also Willian are making runs into the final third expecting to meet a cross from Reece James. Sometimes when Williams would get stressed trying to close down on the wide player, Azpi would take the chance and make runs behind Williams looking for a cross into the box. Again, this was only possible because Mason Mount and Willian were diligently dropping into those half spaces. And in fact, the first goal came exactly in the same process. Willian was the wide man this time, Reece James occupied the half space, and once Williams had committed to Willian, Azpi made the run into the space, put the cross in, and Giroud had a tap in. Chelsea were 1-0 up just before halftime. Although De Gea's anticipation of the ball was questionable, Lampard's tactics were on point and helped break the deadlock. The same thing happened on the left wing also, where Mason Mount and Alonso were using similar tactics against Wan-Bissaka. But here Rudiger didn't join in, partly to handle Manchester United's occasional counter and partly because his crossing ability is not really up to the mark, guys. So Kovacic would join in whenever required. Here's an example of the same, and when you look at the heat maps of the fullbacks of the both teams, you can easily see Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Williams really got a chance to join the attack, whereas Reece James and Alonso assisted the Chelsea attack heavily. In fact, Chelsea had 21 crosses, 17 more than Man U. Also, 6 of the top 5 crosses were Chelsea players, and the only player in the top 6, Bruno, wasn't even a wide player for Man U. Now, before seeing what Man U did with the ball, guys, please hit the like button and the subscribe button for more content, guys. And now let's see what Man U did with the ball, what Ole told his men to do. Man U always wanted to involve their talismanic midfielder Bruno, and Solskjaer believed that he had enough passing range and skill to put a chip over the back line of Chelsea for Rashford and Dan James to attack, and later Martial too. Sometimes these long balls came even from deeper positions, like here Matic sending Rashford through in the first minute of the game. This was all Ole asked his players to do. But guys, this is not very complicated, and Chelsea made sure that such simple tactics work rarely. Without the ball, Chelsea maintained high press, continuously closing down on Man U defenders and not letting them play the ball out from the back. In fact, the second goal was the result of Reece's press on Brandon Williams, forcing him to make a miss pass. Mount, taking the ball into his stride, took the shot, and then shambolic goalkeeping. Really bad from De Gea, but Chelsea wouldn't mind. They were going into the finals now. Now let's talk about the problems of the Manchester United, guys. The reason Manchester United looked so dead most of the time was Fred and Matic. They were not mobile enough to play it out from the back. Matic and Fred both are too slow and were being closed down too easily. Their passing was too passive, and their lack of clever movements meant the Man U centre halves always had to play the ball out through their fullbacks. Sometimes Bruno had to drop to get the ball out from the back, even though it was being clearly exposed every now and then. Still, why Ole did not bring on Pogba early, it's not clear, guys. Even if second half Pogba and Greenwood were brought in, Matic dropped in between the two centre halves, helped in build up, but the fullbacks weren't pushing up. As you can see, Williams is still in his own half. On the far side, the fullbacks were reluctant to push up even in the second half and rarely joined the attack. The wingers were easily dealt with by Lampard's men as they fell into those 2v1 traps or sometimes 3v2 traps when midfielders of both sides joined in. It will remain a mystery why the fullbacks were reluctant to join the attack. Whatever, guys. Anyway, Ole's tactics weren't good enough. His starting line was shambolic, and Lampard just did his job. It wasn't the best of the football matches, guys, but let's move on to our man of the match performance. And our man of the match is Olivier Giroud, who has been very impressive for the last few matches, and yesterday wasn't any different. He was the best among all players in aerial duels. Numbers suggest the same. He did his job as a target man brilliantly, laying the balls into the paths of onrushing Mount and Willian. His link-up play and runs into the box were impressive. Also, he was very good at pressing without the ball. So that's all, guys. Let me know if you noticed anything else tactically, if your man of the match was different from my choice. And like, share, subscribe, guys. And another tip, don't watch these kinds of BS matches. Bye, guys.